extra time.
Tell us a bit about your inspiration to do the book in the first place, Steve.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of subject matter in India, so it was pretty easy. But I've been going to India since 1985, 85, 86, the tour to India. It was my first experience going to the subcontinent, and I was sort of captivated from that very first moment. We landed in Bombay, went to the hotel, got on the team bus, and there was sights and sounds and smells that were totally new to me. And it was just a bombardment of the senses. There were so many people everywhere, kids and people playing cricket all over the place, and I was always one to be up the front of the bus, so I carried a camera, so I took a lot of shots from the inside of the bus. But the thing that frustrated me on that tour and subsequent tours was that I couldn't get outside and get amongst it and take photos of the kids in the streets, on the beaches, in front of the mountains. Wherever there was a game of cricket, I wanted to capture that photo. So in the back of my mind, I had this idea of going back to India one day, trying to find out why cricket is such a religion to the people, and taking what I see the spirit of cricket through the lens of my camera and taking shots. And we did that for 17 days in January 2020, just before COVID struck the world. And it was an incredible experience. I took 20,000 photos over those 17 days. I was coached by a guy called Trent Park, who's the only Australian photographer ever to be invited into the Magnum Photo Agency in France. And wow. So he's a world-class photographer and an ex-cricketer, so he sort of got the concept and basically coached me as we went around.
I don't think you need much coaching, Steve, to be really honest with you. I mean, your natural ability with the camera is evidenced in these photographs.
Well, I can see the scene like most people, but getting the light right and the aperture and the shutter speed, and that's something I didn't know before, because I always took photos on the automatic setting. I wanted to take these on the manual setting to take it to the next level and to surprise people with the quality of the photographs, and hopefully I've done that. There was quite a few bad photos in amongst it as well, but thankfully there were some good ones, and I learned a lot as I went along. I mean, for instance, this scene behind it, he was a girls' cricket academy in Dharamshala, and Trent was big on getting that big picture shot. So you sit there and wait for the action to unfold in front of you and capture that moment, and then later on go down and get amongst the game. So the big picture shots are what a lot of the scenes are about. Here's one, Juhu Beach at night time, sunset. So I learned a lot about getting the right light and the right shutter speed for action, and so for me it was a huge learning curve, and I enjoyed the experience because I was, like everyone else, I love taking photographs, and I was always, take a lot of photographs, hopefully you get some good ones, but this time I wanted to make sure I had some really good shots.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The best thing about this book is not just simply the naturalness of the photographs, it's the whole thing. It was an organic process. It wasn't overly structured, and that's the beauty of it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't want it to be too structured, because I knew what India was like, that if you plan for things over there, things can go wrong, but you let things naturally evolve and happen. And there were some gaps in the itinerary. I thought they're going to be taken up really quickly because I'm going to meet some amazing people, some friends, or something will stand out that we want to spend some time on. And I wanted to have the ability to drive along the road in our sort of team bus, and if I see a game of cricket on the side of the highway, stop, pull up, and then take that shot, because that was the natural photos I was after, and that happened many times. So yeah, we needed some gaps in the itinerary, but at the same time I needed a bit of structure. There's some people I really wanted to capture, like the physically challenged cricketers or the blind cricketers or the women's cricket academy. So we needed to plan some of it.
Well, that's a very good set of points. The people with disabilities, those with vision impairment, and the girls, that is, they must have been extra special moments, in my opinion, because you capture the essence of the joy of cricket in those people, don't you?
Yeah. The project wasn't about capturing the superstars and the heroes, because they've been well documented. But to me, the spirit of cricket is, cricket, everyone is equal when you pick up that bat and ball. So I wanted to capture everything from gully cricket to going to the Maharaja's Palace to meeting a 3-year-old star on Instagram, a 100-year-old birthday. Then we had Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid. So we tried to capture a cross section of why cricket is so special to the people. So yeah, it wasn't about Virat Kohli and those guys necessarily, although they were a part of it. But it was sort of the fans and the people involved in playing cricket. There was a woman in the village brushing the pitch with a broom, and to me that's part of the spirit of cricket, because she gets the pitch prepared for the guys to have a game of cricket.
Well, I mean, for over 30 years, Udayan was one of your first involvements as an actual charity, and having that great start. In fact, were you the first? I think you were literally the first, I believe, to have actually been involved in that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I was during a test match. We lost in Calcutta, and I had a spare day, and a lady called Shamla Jadeja invited me out to Udayan, And I had a look at the place, and it was incredible the way these kids were looked after, and I realised they all came from leprosy colonies. And then I said, well, can I go to a leprosy colony to see the difference that this place has made? And they were a bit shocked that I wanted to do that. And we went into a leprosy colony, and I realised that this place was doing amazing work. And through Reverend James Stevens, who sadly has since passed, it started off with 11 boys, and now there's 310 kids and 100 girls there. I guess I was responsible for funding the girls' wing and supporting the girls. So that was 20 odd years ago. Actually, it took 18 hours to get to one of the TARs because
18 hours?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why, because we were on a pretty tight schedule, and we got to Delhi, and obviously to drive to Agra is quite a drive. It's about a 4 or 5 hour drive in a minibus. So we got up early in my morning, drove to Agra, and it was totally fogged in. So we waited 4 or 5 hours, fog didn't lift, no TARs, so no photo. I thought, in the back of my mind, my idea was to have the TARs as a cover shot because it's iconic, and so I went back home, took a few photos on the way back home, and I thought, well, I've got to get up early and go again tomorrow. So we got up at 4 in the morning, drove another 5 hours back, got the photos and drive back. So 18 hours of driving to get the one photo. So, but it's worth it because it's such an amazing place, the TARs.
So that was a game literally happening as you spoke.
Well, there was about 10 games. There's a game going on here, there's one over here, one over there. So there's typical India. There's just games going everywhere. But you try and capture the moment, and it's not. Well, it's pretty easy to take a good shot at the TARs because it's such an amazing place.
So, okay, I know you probably don't want to talk about this, but a second book? Is there a second book?
Well, I'd love to. I'd love to capture. I think every country has got a different feel, or they go about it a different way. Their cricket, Spirit of Cricket Australia is the next project I'd love to capture.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I want to go in the outback, and I want people to tell their stories and tell me why that cricket is important to them and special for them. But obviously, you get funding. These are big projects. I need funding for the second project. And the first project, I was lucky Canon were a big supporter to make it happen because it's not easy to make it happen. But I'd love to do the Spirit of Cricket of Australia, maybe England, and then I'd like to do countries like Nepal and Bhutan and maybe Afghanistan and those sort of countries that aren't recognised as powerhouses in cricket, but they still have the same passion.
Hi, this is Norman Kochannek for Extra Time here with Steve Waugh, the amazing Steve Waugh, former Australian cricketer, but I'm going to call him a current Australian photographer. Perhaps that's what your title should be.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be a photographer. Thank you.
Now, we're just going to talk about Steve Waugh's book. So, Extra Time have a special access to this. If you go to stevewaugh.com.au, you'll be able to get this book. Worth purchasing. 220 photographs out of 18,000.
Yeah, there's lots of photos here. I had to pick from 18,000. Got down to 220. So, and the cover shot is of the famous iconic Taj Mahal.
So Extra Time viewers, you need to watch out for this book. Extra Time, this is an extra special book. Imagine having this on your coffee table. I'm going to get one for sure, so make sure you get it. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.
No bite! Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.